Today on Alpine Garage Sports, we're going to be talking about some questions that I've received over the past few weeks that honestly, I didn't want to make an entire video about each one. But one's going to be on Prime's future. There's a lot of, I don't know, discussion about other coaches being fired during the middle of the season and where's Coach Prime in this. And I think those have been answered, but it's just recently been answered for me. So I wanted to talk about that. The CU fight song, why is it, I don't want to say there's a controversy about it, but there's definitely something going on, uh, talking about, should it be something that is big with the, holy mackerel, this fly, it's like cold outside and we got flies in here. Anyway, is the CU fight song something that should be a big part of the players' routine in the locker room, right? That's something that's been going around and around. I hinted at it before, but we'll talk about it a little bit more now. And then the last thing is Juju's home start, a big deal for this university, a big deal for the fan base. Let's talk about that on this episode of Alpine Garage Sports. So let's jump right into this. Coach Prime being here for 3 years and having basically one winning season in 3 years. A lot of big time universities, that's something that, doesn't go very well with the fan base. It doesn't go very well with the AD and the rest of the school. You see a lot of mass firings, or I should say a mass firing going on in college football right now because of what people think are just the standards of a university and the fact that poor seasons and poor losses to specific rivals have a tendency to out the current AD and sometimes even the coach, or I should say the coach and sometimes the AD. And, where does Colorado sit in this whole thing? And I think that's been answered over the last few weeks, and that's kind of dropped down a little bit. But I've been going back and forth in a lot of mediums with folks about, where I believe that this sits with Coach Prime. And honestly, it was answered for me in the presser just a couple of days ago. And for me, I've always been pretty rock steady on Coach Prime. Whatever Coach Prime decides that he wants to do with the football team is something that I will support. I'm not always going to like it. I'm not always going to say that I like it, but I'm going to support it in the fact that I trust that he knows what he's doing, or at least he has the ability to make changes when changes need to be made. For not only for the sake of the football team and the fan base, but also for his tenure here at University of Colorado and any future jobs that he might want to take in coaching college football. Let's just play the clip real quick, and I hope that you guys can hear this because sometimes my share does not work in this. But let's see what Coach Prime has to say about this subject. And this is basically it was originally a question about his fortitude and his ability to overcome things, but it kind of turned into a speech to the fan base about kind of where Colorado is going to go.
On all the unique forms of adversity that have happened this year, whether it be your health, losing, the AD leaving, they're all happening at once. What kind of challenge is that for you?
I think God spread them out a little bit. they hit me once, but I think God, he's right, he allowed this like, so I'm please understand, if anybody is built for adversity, I am. If anybody is built to change, I am. If anybody is built to overcome situations and trial and tribulations, I am. You got the right man. I promise you do. And I'm going to prove that to you. I am. Just give me an opportunity and give me a little more time, and I'm going to prove that to you. I will. I promise you.
So that to me was all I needed to be happy with where I'm at with the University of Colorado and Coach Prime. All I wanted to do, it seemed like for a few weeks now, it's been kind of passing on questions and maybe talking about, the players a little bit more than the coaches as far as the culpability of where we're at this year. But this was kind of, to me, the way that I took this. This is the first time that Coach Prime actually came out and said, "Hey, listen, I know there's adversity. Obviously, I've been through a lot of adversity personally." And he didn't say this, but I felt it, that, the university is going through some adversity now too, because we had very high expectations for Coach Prime's tenure here. And honestly, I feel like we've gotten a lot more out of it than what a lot of people give him credit for. And I'm not talking about wins, and I'm not talking about championships and trophies and things like that. I'm just talking about the excitement around the program. And that's kind of where I am right now. Would I love to see Colorado win a national championship? Absolutely. Do I want to have winning years every year? Yes, I do, because that helps in recruiting, and it also makes the games a heck of a lot more fun. But just since he's been here, the level of excitement for me and my family going to games has been higher than it was before Prime's arrival. And that, to me, is a lot of what I look for going to a game. I want to win the game, but the win is going to be a win. A loss is going to be a loss. What I do during that day there, and I spend almost all day on campus every game day, is I want to walk away from there with memories. And there have been a lot of memories, in the last couple of years with Coach Prime there. And I'm going to put a compilation together over the week of Thanksgiving next week of some of the things that a lot of you who have been longtime subscribers are have seen. You saw me, go and visit College Game Day, Fox Big Noon Kickoff, all of the big things that happened in year one with Coach Prime here. And then a lot of the things that happen in subsequent years, that, the big booming college campus game day experiences have kind of died down a little bit. But it's still at a pretty high level. And I would have to say this last game that I went to was probably one of the more fun games that I went to, talking about the entire day. So there's still memories being made. In this press conference with Coach Prime, for me, all I wanted to do was hear him say, "Guys, I know there's a problem, but I am built for this. And if you give me a chance, I'm going to show it to you." That, to me, is him taking accountability and saying, whatever needs to happen in order for the team to turn around, I'm going to put it on me, and we're going to go with it. And that means that I think is going to be making some pretty tough decisions at the end of the season. And there's obviously going to be some shakeup with portal, and that's in and out. So next year could be a completely different scenario. I don't think that it's going to be worse. I don't think that it probably can be worse than this year. But just the addition of Julian Lewis starting, and we'll talk about that at the very end, because I want to cap off with something a little bit lighter than the next subject that we're going to talk about. And I think that that's important. I think that knowing that Julian Lewis is going to be here next year, hoping that Julian Lewis is going to be next year, counting on Julian Lewis being here next year, is kind of everything for next year for me. And knowing that coach is committed, knowing that he's willing to make some difficult decisions, hopefully is what that meant, is good by me. And I'm ready to see what happens here. Now let's go to the next one. The fight song controversy. Now, I will be the first one to say that I don't think that this is a controversy. I think that there's a lot of talk about it. And it's not just with YouTube channels. It's also when I'm on, when I'm walking around talking to people at tailgates and the friends that I have, that some of them have actually played at CU, that everybody's kind of all over the place. It's obviously, as fans, it's a big deal to us. I'm a lifelong CU fan, and the entirety of my life has been built around the traditions at CU, and as far as football goes anyway. And so, and I don't think that's died off. When you're talking about the fan base, we still sing as loud as we've ever sung. In fact, I think that this year in my section, I've heard it as loud as I've ever heard it. And When we get to the fight, it's like it's an all out looking like a brawl, and it gets my blood flowing. And like right now, man, like I can feel it. Like, in fact, I listened to the CU fight song like 3 times before I actually went live today, because I wanted to get myself in that same frame of mind that I'm at a game. And when I'm walking around campus before the game, there are groups of people singing it before the game. When, you're walking by people and they're saying fight, CU, and, those kinds of things. The core fan base that has made it out to all of these games is in. That's never an option. It's never an issue. It hasn't been eliminated. My game day experience has not been eliminated. And because of that, I am thankful, right? I know that some other things happen, the Ralphie run and, the players not running out after Ralphie directly and things like that. Those are all things that, does it affect me as a fan? I love it. I loved it. I loved it a lot. Does it affect players? I don't know. I haven't asked the players about that. But what I do know is this. The biggest part of this discussion is built around what is it doing or not doing for the players. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to touch on. And not in a way where I'm like set and planting my flag and things like that, because that's not what it is. But I've been wanting to talk about it, and I've talked about it a little bit here and there, and I talk about it a lot with other people that where I'm not, have a camera in my face and things like that. But I just wanted to bring it up, So here it goes. I kind of see it like my discussions on altitude. So those of you who've been around a while know that I'm big on the whole CU altitude advantage thing, right? It is definitely a thing. It does matter. Okay. Does it by itself fix football games? No, it does not. Right. We went for 20 years with very little success playing at home at altitude. There's never anything in football that's an absolute. But a lot of things are important when it comes to having not only a winning mentality, but also a drive for every single game. And a lot of those things have to be in place in order to win a game, right? When you're playing at home field advantage is a thing. It's a big thing. And if you don't take advantage of it, then it's one less thing that you have that you can win a football game with, right? If you have a talented player on your team and they're a 5-star and they're a world beater, but you don't design your game plan around that player, then that's another thing that could keep you from winning. When you're talking about recruits and players coming to the University of Colorado and they're not built into the traditions of the University of Colorado, and there isn't anything that wakes them up in the morning and says, I am a buff through and through, and no matter what happens, I'm going to leave everything that I have on the field today because I love this school. I love the tradition. I want to be a part. I want to be a brick in the rebuild to get Colorado back to prominence like it was back in the 80s and 90s. And that is one of those things. It's just like altitude or anything else. If it is missing, then you can't use that as part of your building strategy. And I don't know how much or how little or how often the traditions are being played up in the locker room. I don't know. The only thing I hear is I'm hearing things from other places, as you guys are as well, that saying that it may not be as prominent as it has been in the past. And I'm saying that take University of Colorado out of this. All right, let's talk about Alabama. Let's talk about Florida. Let's talk about Miami. Let's talk about maybe some of the smaller schools. I say smaller, meaning not as prominent, like Colorado, Colorado State, New Mexico, BYU, some of these other schools. The biggest thing that college football used to be built on was just the pride of the school and playing for the school and playing for hopefully the coach that you love at that school and the fact that they are helping you develop as a person, helping you develop as a player. But it's a lot of pride and tradition. And that used to be very prominent in college football. And in a lot of universities, that is still the case. Even with NIL and all of these other things, the free agent pool that there is out there in the NCAA, there are still traditions at these schools. I mean, we just saw it not too long ago when Arizona came and beat us, and the locker room exploded afterwards with their song. And did that fire up the players? Is that the reason why they beat us? Probably not. But is it one of the reasons why they beat us? Absolutely. I 100% believe it was. Is that when you are united by something, and in this case, it could be just the university and what the university means to the fans and to the faculty and to the coaches and to the players. That could be what you're missing if you don't win a football game. It could be a lot of things, but that could be one of them. The biggest part of our fight song is shoulder to shoulder. It's on the helmet. It's everywhere, and it means united as a team, fighting against an adversary and carrying the pride of the University of Colorado with them. And if it's there, that is another thing that helps bond people. And if it's not, then that's another thing that is not bonding us, right? And that's the only thing I'm saying. I would love for every player that comes to the University of Colorado to have grown up a CU Buff fan and want to play for the CU Buffs and fight for CU like they have wanted to do their entire lives. That is not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen at any university. It's just trying to build that in and trying to create that, which can also help in retaining players and developing players as well. But again, it's just a small thing, right? But I wanted to finish this conversation off with a video that you guys may or may not have seen. If you're a Colorado Buff fan, you probably have seen this video. And if you are not, if you haven't been around CU for a lot of years, I'm going to exit this real quick. Hang on one second. Then you probably have not seen this video, but I'm going to show you this video anyway, just to kind of give you an idea of what has happened in the past here at the University of Colorado surrounding this whole thing. So this is Brian Cabral. And I think you'll know the other guy as well, Chad Brown, talking about the CU fight song.
Being a Buff is singing that song, knowing that so many of us worked so hard, so many of us believed in each other, so many of us accomplished what we set out to accomplish, and the greatest reward for any Buffalo, I believe, is singing that song, singing that fight song. As you can tell, just talking about the fight song brings back emotions. Takes me back 20 years. To a very special time in my life I'll never forget. To come together, shoulder to shoulder, the band of brothers, to achieve great things on a football field. Conference titles, national championships, teammates winning awards. The fight song is what you do after the game. It puts a cap on all that you have just achieved on the field. All that hard work in the spring, in the fall, during camp, all that hard work during the week, that fight song puts a cap on it each week. It closes one week, and it's the opening to the next week. I would do anything to be a part of the fight song again. Singing that, being a part of that, achieving Buffalo victory with my brothers, with the guys who I've worked and bled with months and years with to achieve what we just achieved. Put that final cap on it, the final cherry in the drink. Fight song. Probably the greatest reward.
So that's that. I just wanted to show you that video. And again, I'm not saying that I think that we're missing anything or losing or whatever because the fight song's not as prevalent with the football team as it had been in the past. I'm just saying that traditions of a school we carry as a fan base, and we're still carrying that as a fan base. So as far as me, as far as I'm concerned, we're still carrying it. It hasn't changed. In fact, the fight song this month, this year is 100 years old. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it was first played at a CU game in November of 1925. So 100 years for the fight song. This will be the last time that it's sung for this year in Folsom. I'll be there and I'll be cheering it on. Whether Coach Prime decides that needs to be a bigger part of it, or the coaching, or I should say the coaches think that it should be. That's up to them. They're the ones that are driving this program. We are along for the ride, and I can tell you that I support Coach Prime with whatever Coach Prime needs to do in order to develop this team into a winning team. I will be there singing the fight song, and if he wants to sing it with me, then that'll be all the sweeter. But I just wanted to show you that video because these are ex-players that went to the NFL, and then now they're coming back and saying that some of the best times of their life were singing that fight song in the locker room. And that just may be something that maybe some players in any university, it doesn't matter what it is, maybe if they're not doing that, maybe that's something as a part of their life that they're going to be missing going forward. The shoulder to shoulder and getting the team together and being one with that fight song, I think could be a valuable part of their tenure at a university. But I just wanted to mention it while I was here, and then we'll move on to Juju's start. Obviously a challenging year, and never got discouraged. I kind of got the feeling as we went along that we were not going to get to a bowl game. I think you heard that from me a couple of times, and I wasn't all that worried about it because as long as we see some things happening at the University of Colorado that are movement going forward, that is giving us something to talk about for next season and making this off season as fun as these off seasons have been in the past few years, then I'm going to be a very happy fan. And in this case, going to the last game for CU at Folsom this year, and knowing that Juju, our future, is going to be starting that game against a team that theoretically should beat us pretty handily, just based on the execution that they've had over the past few years. Going into this game, knowing that we have a very good opportunity to win this game under Juju, with some slight coaching changes and a different attitude coming into this game than we've had before, makes everything so much more fun going into this game. I never would sell my tickets going into a game if I could make it. In this particular game, there was absolutely no way I was not going to show up to support the team. But making sure that I know that we have an opportunity to win this game, and that we're going to get to see Juju for an entirety, is just amazing to me. And whether we win or whether we don't, if we can see Juju do what Juju did last week, and we can see the team around them and the coaching at a high level at home, that's going to just kick off this whole off season. Even though we have one more game after that, it's going to kick off the whole off season and make it that much more fun for us. And it gives us a lot to talk about too. So I just wanted to mention Juju and say that even though it took him a while to get into the games, and really for us to see him, I think it's well worth it. It's exactly the same Shedeur thing. I've been waiting for Shedeur to get his opportunity as a starter for the Cleveland Browns. And if you don't think I'm going to be watching that Cleveland game this weekend, you are crazy. I'm absolutely going to be watching that game. Even though, Cleveland has no chance of doing anything this year, and I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan, just the hype surrounding this thing and the opportunity that he's going to have, I want to be able to witness that for myself. And the same thing for Juju as well. I want to see the opportunity that he's given and see what he can do with it, see what the coaches do to support him, see what the players do to support him, and each other for that matter. And you know what? I'm going to say it now, shoulder to shoulder, we have an opportunity to win this game. So I can't get into a whole bunch of other comments here, guys. I got to get out of here. But I did see T'Challa James is in the building, and I did read that one comment where you said that you were in at your 4 years at a D1 and never sang my college fight song. Let me put that up there. Didn't think much of it. I understand that. I do. I want to pull this back a little bit to just that one comment, T'Challa, because when I'm talking about the CU fight song, I'm talking about it primarily from a fan base. And like I said at the very beginning of that, I don't think that that's missing in at Folsom even a little bit. There's some other things that are going on that are extra that we didn't have before Coach Prime came. But I don't think they take away from anything. In fact, I somewhat enjoy some of it. But the CU fight song, the fight song sequence, Glory Colorado, all of that is just once you make that a part of your psyche and you make that part of your soul, when it goes away, if it were to go away, it would just be like ripping out my heart. So as a fan base, I am happy that we still live in those traditions and those traditions are still there. And I think that the players could be missing an opportunity for that. And do I think that it could be something that could be another extra little thing to pull the team together? I do. I think that anything that you do in that realm would, and I think that the traditions of a university, especially a proud university like University of Colorado, I think that is something that could be missing. That is a wrap from Alpine Garage Sports. I appreciate you guys showing up. I'm going to be doing another video just on the ASU game leading up to this. It'll probably be tomorrow morning, and then obviously I'm going to be live at the game like I always am, and we will see you then. That's a wrap for Alpine Garage Sports.